here to do this class. He gave a wonderful concert that was over just a few minutes ago. And enjoy the live stream of this masterclass, which I'm sure will be exciting for everybody who's playing. So, good. Thank you.
Can you grab a chair?
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll get it.
I have one there. Okay, Ricky, please. All right. No, I do. Yeah. Okay, it's all right. Is that music desk gonna work for you?
No, yeah, I probably will.
No? So tell us what you're playing.
I'll be playing El Puerto, which is a piece from the first volume of Albeniz's Iberia, which is a work basically dedicated to major cities in Spain. So each one has its own flavor, let's say.
Sorry, maybe just one more. So I can see you. Okay, hey Ricky, congratulations! It's great. I really love your playing. As I said, I when I got the list, I was like, oh, I wonder if they have any YouTube videos. So it's great. Lots of I think. There's a lot of different dynamics and markings, right? All the different, actually in French, markings, and you're bringing out all the different characters, right? There's a lot of different characters here. And it's, I think in the context of Iberia, it's in two rather kind of serious sounding pieces, and this one is kind of really energetic and lighthearted, but in a kind of this kind of way, right? It's a lot of, if it were German music, we would call it Schwung, right? I was just curious to hear your thoughts about. There's a lot of Fs and then FF and FFF. Just in terms of dynamics, right? There's also all the expressive markings, and then there's not any anything, and then there's maybe one P, and then there's a bunch of 4. And so, should you use this mic too? I'll just come over here. We're gonna.
Sure. I think one of the biggest challenges about this piece is finding a difference even in the various Fs, right? And also not making sure that it's, too, let's say, an ugly sound, not making an ugly sound. So having a balance of what are the levels, what are the tiers?
Okay, one other question I have for you. I see what you're doing with, your hands. It looks great. You say not an ugly sound, right? I'm not here to tell you to make an ugly sound, actually, don't worry. You're looking at me like, what's he gonna say? No, what I would love for you to try to do is find a way to have the variety in the Fs that are of the sound. Okay, and so, I think your sound, the basic sound that you play with is lovely, really, truly. I wish I could have done, But I think, there's so many things that go into what creates the quality of sound and the volume, right? And I think we can try trying some different, seeing what we can do, because there's just so much FFFFF, fortissimo, on the page, and so we have to find different. Tears is right, but I would rather have it come from a place of what kind of emotion we're trying to create, where everything comes back after the whole tone chord, whole tone, right? After all this, and then it's 3 Fs, joyous, and so that's a good example of how are we going to make joyous, And then the only other thing was actually, I would love to hear, just before, I'm going to ask you to start one more time, but the sforzandi are really great, but I think it can actually be more shocking in a way. And I think I'm going to give you a little tip today on how to never be scared of making an ugly sound. Okay. I don't know if that's a concern, but it was for me. I spent a majority of my piano playing life being afraid to play loud, actually, for fear that I'd make an ugly sound. And so once I kind of started to figure out better what I had to do, or my teacher would say, if you're a cat, you pull your claws in, then I had a lot more fun. So could we start one more time, okay? And can you bring out those differences with accents and sforzandi, and if there's hairpins, right? I mean, yeah. Just go for it right now. Let's just see, just.
In terms of sound, like loudness.
If you have a sforzandi, I mean, everything can be done in so many ways. Accents can be done in different ways. I'll come over after you start, and we'll yeah. Okay, Ricky, thank you. Good. Okay, let's talk about that a little bit, all right? I think maybe we can do, let's just focus on the right hand first, yeah?
Okay, sure.
How about that? I love the swing. So when I say go for it, what I kind of mean is bringing out differences, okay? I did not mean louder. So let me just show you as an example, right? I don't play this piece, but I, can play a little bit here. So accents, right? So this sounded so good, but then when you come in, kind of goes to a similar ground. So just bring in, start with again with your left hand there, okay?
From that point.
Yeah, you want to hold it, right? You want to hold the left hand a little bit? The low note, the bass note? Good, yeah, can you go even smoother? Okay, so now we're kind of going into how to different ways to play the piano territory, but so what do you do if we want to make a smoother feeling?
Smoother sound?
Yeah.
You say like a legato sound?
Yeah.
Which I guess is the way you treat each tone and connect each note to each note,
Yeah.
rather than
Right, so you want to bring out this, right? Those are the accents. Here, sorry. But I would actually, you can practice it slowly, where they're totally different things. So you have your bass note, right? You want a rich bass note. And you have your accent, right? Ding. And then this. So I hear you kind of trying to make these things, but with the same, right? But you can go, but it takes, what you have to do is play the first note, and then actually, I mean, you can see, I'm not sure, but literally I'm not even, so if I want smooth, I have to really do this. And then here I'm gonna go, right? Or you can go, actually, let me just make that example now. When you come back, right? Because this theme, happens in a lot of ways. Main theme. love what you do. Actually, I think yours sounds better. Right? You have a little bit of that brightness that comes through this articulation. Right? Very good. I would love a little more when you have these. I mean, you don't have to go, but you can go, you know. Okay, and then, for instance, that same theme, when it comes back after all the whole tone stuff, is... Now, if you want joyous, how are we gonna? We'll go back, okay, after this. But what are we gonna? How are we gonna do that? What's the difference there?
Well, joyous. I mean, I think of joyous like taking time, but I don't know if
okay.
that's the answer necessarily.
That's okay. I mean, there's not an answer. But so can you play? Just go back to the first time you have it, okay? Yeah. The where you have yeah. Right. And what's the dynamic there?
I should know.
It's here. You can. Oh well, it's actually just within forte, but again, I think all of those can be taken with a grain of salt. Although I should be careful to say you should take markings with a grain of salt. But I think those are all meant to be about emotions. So yeah, so play that. You know, this is what are you going for here in the opening?
I think it's just establishing the beginning.
Oh, that's good. I love that. It sounds really good. Yeah. Yeah, let's do just the right hand because we're getting into that left hand thing again. Okay, let's do that and then we'll go back to the left hand. I just wanted to, yeah. That's lovely. Now, let's skip forward to the recap. It's 3 Fs, right? Is it 4? 3. Only 3. Great. Now, show me how you're going to make this happen, okay? Okay, that kind of sounds the same to me, right?
As the beginning, you're saying?
It sounds not far from it, to my ears, just sitting here. Maybe it might be different. But I think this is really important to be realistic about what's actually being transmitted. Sometimes it happens where you can make a physical change where you're sitting, and it'll kind of sound similar to you, but it'll sound totally different from out there. Yeah. And so it's very important to kind of get in touch with that. So, I mean, I would think, just to give an example here in this joyous section, I would see if I can make the sound go this way. Okay, what does that mean? So, so if in the beginning section, very declaimed, it's really clear, has personality, I would do everything in my power to take away this quality. Because if this is the opening, that's a good amount, I think. When you get to the end, I mean, it has to be different, right? It's like, what is this in the context of the whole piece? Isn't this the climax of the piece? So you need more, but if you do the same way, let's say I do more. That's what's going to happen, right? I don't want to do that. I would actually try just experiment. It's going to take some experimentation. But I think it is possible to play, with varying engagement. So I can go, now I'll do a little less. Now I'm going to play like jellyfish. Right? Big sforzando. That's quite different than. Try it a little bit. Let's just try this part. See what you can do. It's okay, you don't have to get it right away, but I just love to see.
How much deeper sound you're saying?
Yeah. So, you know, if it is the cat pulling its claws in. This is a claw, you know, and we can use it. It makes articulation. It's kind of like how string players hold their bow in different ways. But then sometimes string players, when they're really going for it with a more bigger sound, they kind of just start putting, you know, they're not holding it like this anymore. They're just kind of going in this way. So, yeah, if you play softly without engagement here, you're not going to get anything. What you're going to get is...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, good. You have to do it a little slower, okay? So, basically, I want you to just put your arm on the key. It's not even your finger. You're just putting your arm on the key. It's not your finger, okay? That's how I like to think about it. Because if you think finger, but I'm gonna go. And I don't know. I think it can be liberating. You know. Try it one more time. Let's see. And then, good. That's nice. Go slow. Yeah, and even there, you can actually do that even without. You can go if you go slow enough. See, I'm just like. There you go. Now try doing it with just do it normal way.
Like before?
Yeah, the louder part. I mean, it's not even close to the amount that you can actually just very freely produce. So I think it's worth experimenting with. You know, it's not really, I'm not sure if it's right for everyone. But I think range is good. Now, we were talking about the left hand, right? Let's take a look at that really quick. I know this is not a lot of time here, so, but I just want to give you something to experiment with, you know, in your own time. So let's try that left hand texture, like when the right hand comes in. Yeah, so let's do it without the bass note and just try going. This is really good, getting that accent. Yeah, good. Good. And you can also do a little legato too if you have a creative fingering. Yeah. That's great. Good. How does that feel? I mean, I'm not sure. Can you do just the quiet stuff? Just play like something. Yeah, so I want to see how much now you can get that variety in the quieter sounds. Maybe actually we can do that in the middle section. Sorry, this edition actually has this this is like a very free-form edition. It's literally, but it's, I mean, what, you know, that's all right. So that'll be here. Sempre dolce, expressive. Is this the right part? I think. No, I want this part here. Souple et caressant. Okay, what kind of sound are we going for here? What kind of sound are we going for here?
I mean, it's a deep sound. It says somber and sonorous. So kind of, I mean, this. Mysterious a little bit.
Yeah. It can be more mysterious, because I think. Show me what you're doing there in the left hand. It's good. It's pretty good. But what you can do is actually. Basically, the more on these kinds of passages, the more supple your hand is, the more luxurious your phrasing is going to get.
What do you mean by supple?
As in, let me give you the range, right? So can I sit down? Sure. Yeah. So, if I don't use, well, I mean, if I, well, it's not a bad sound either. It's not a bad sound. verses. It's a little smaller, right? Anyway. I hear a little bit. What I want is the supple, in the hand, so that we can make these kind of really wildly unpredictable hairpins and swirling in the phrasing. There's a few things I want you to just try and remember to try out. Okay, one is, which you're doing very well. I love this sound. It's the shiny sound, where you're playing very quietly, with articulation. But I would love you to, if you can, explore the dark, like the really dark undertone. And of course, all of these can be amplified with the soft pedal, right? And then the really big, joyous sound that... And it all, but what it starts with is the willingness to try different configurations, basically, of your hand. You know, this is a percussion instrument, right? As in when they play marimba or drums, they have different mallets that have different hardnesses, right? And they pick a harder one when they need the brighter, so we should do the same. So, but I think if you have some fun trying this, you might, I mean, if you try this, you might have some fun bringing out some of the really surprises and details. So, yeah. But you're a beautiful pianist. I mean, really, you're a better pianist than I am. So, you know what? Like, but listen and enjoy the tactile nature of the keyboard. Okay? It can do what you want it to. Like, it can do a lot more than you think. You know? Yeah. But, of course. Oliver, yes. Chopin Nocturne. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I was supposed to say, tell us what you're playing.
Hello everyone, my name is Oliver Rivera, and today I'll be performing Nocturne, Opus 15, number 1 by Frédéric Chopin.
It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. Yeah, it's funny. This is not. It's a little bit different than how I hear the piece, but I'm interested to hear how you feel. You know, what. I'm so glad to see. You know, there's a lot of like the hairpins and things like that, which you actually follow so beautifully, and you. Yeah, sometimes people do markings on the page because they're there. They don't sound like they believe in them, but you actually sound like you know, wholeheartedly are making the expression. The part that I hear slightly differently is that I start to get a little concerned maybe sometimes when I feel like it's too many down hairpins in a row and it just starts to go like this. But you can actually pull it off. I mean, there's a way to pull that off too. But tell me, what are your thoughts? I mean, what do you think are the difficulties you have now, or you know, what you're going for that went well?
Right. So I think the biggest difficulties for me in this piece are bringing out clarity, sometimes in the right hand, and keeping balance between all the voices, especially when the left hand has like those chords, and keeping the balance between that and the right hand, bringing out the melody.
You mean in this the main section, right?
Right, in the A section.
You say balance as in because you have more notes, right?
Right.
Yeah, I see. Okay, good. It's funny. You know, when I was younger, this is one of the main struggles I had. I was working on Chopin Nocturnes, the E flat 55 number 2, and I was also working on Chopin 48 number 1, second sonata, and I had this thing that I would bother all my teachers with, which is like, what do I do? Because I was always taught, you know, if I have a melody line, right, I should listen to the decay of the notes and then match to make more legato. But at some point, it was getting to the point where like I don't know what to do because these notes are too long, and I'm supposed to make a crescendo. And I asked my teacher, "What should I do?" And you know, they wouldn't really give me an answer. One time, I went to a piano festival with like 6 teachers, and they wouldn't tell me. They wouldn't tell me what to do. But it's just a matter of listening and feeling. Actually, I think it's more simple, but it's sometimes hard to explain. Actually, that's a really great place to maybe start exploring because when you have an especially long note, 1, 2, 3, becomes a question of how are you going to get to the next, right? Because I think I hear a little bit of what I was talking about was my own personal thing of like I don't want it to just start loud on the next note, you know. Can you do the first 8 bars? Okay, just try that one more time and let's. Okay, good, great. I want you to try one more thing, which is, can you play the left hand only, but split the hands? Because I want you to pretend that what you have in the left hand is actually its own melody, okay? So you can, you know, there's 3 voices, right? There's the bass note, there's the triplets, and then there's the top. So you can split it however you want. Okay, good. Let me come over there for 1 sec. Okay, can I actually just sit down for a minute? So, that's good. Not quite as beautiful as when you had your other hand. I think you don't quite believe in this one as much yet, or maybe you haven't, but each chord has its own color, and it is kind of a melody too. So I want you to listen like this. You could actually simplify it even further, and it'll really make you listen if you do it this way with just... So actually the sense that I get from playing the chords this way, well, you want to try it? And tell me what you think. Right, now I hear actually a longer line. That's weird. Even without the melody. Why is that? Why is that happening? What are you listening to for? 'Cause I think you're hearing a little differently.
I was trying to listen for the melody in the right hand over like the other notes in the left hand.
Okay.
Like to kind of have it shine through.
Okay, can you now add the triplets back? Because I'm getting... So now I'm hearing that you're actually hearing the connection between the notes more, I mean in a good way, actually more than just the hairpin that's on the page. Because yeah, the hairpin's there, that can mean a lot of things, sometimes timing, sometimes just phrasing or dynamics, but I think you have to first look at just the notes that are there. So let's add the triplets now, see how the phrase sounds. No, just the left hand, right? So yeah. Good, okay. So now you're kind of reverting slightly. Maybe it's just the nature of the triplets. Let's try one last thing. Could you please play the melody and the chords? Okay, and then I promise I won't stick you here. Yeah, that's great. So I think that kind of framework can be very useful to hear what's actually, the content of the notes there without the disturbance of having to play them. And I think it can kind of inform the phrasing. So let me actually sit down for a minute now. I'll play with the chords like you did. I mean, I don't personally see any reason you need to go dee da 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 dee, because to me that would leave me with nowhere to go after that. So I would personally try, but it's personal, you know. Use your left hand to push you to support that note, even though that can't sustain this. Then we have a hairpin going down. But then at the bottom of that downward hairpin is our most painful chord. You could be, or it could be the opposite. You need to, you know, if you want it soft, you do have to really bring it out. You want to experience the pain. But in general, that's the kind of thing I would love to. So let's try, we're going to try one more time. But when you have a really long notes, right, like the dotted half notes, I'd love if you can try to use your left hand to imaginarily sustain those notes. Okay? I won't stop here, okay?
You just want me to do the chords again?
Do the chords one more time, yeah. Left hand. Now how are you going to get softer from here? Okay, crescendo, left hand. Boom. One more left hand. Right, beam, because we're not quite at the diminuendo yet, right? So
it was too soft, and then there's another diminuendo.
What's that?
So you're saying it was too soft, and then there's still more room for diminuendo.
Yeah. See, there's no dim here, but you're actually getting softer here. Da da da. So it's now you have a piano, right? So you have to do that one. That's the one you gotta do. There you go. Now delicatis. Go. Nice. Okay, here's a spot. Play those chords. Right, so it's actually a diminuendo. I mean, it's a down, closing hairpin, but I think you do have to take some responsibility for those painful chords as well. How are you doing with those chords? Is it weird? Yeah. Good, keep going. Okay, good. So I think when you do it with chords, the phrasing that you're choosing becomes extremely clear, right? And now it kind of sounds to me like it is literally the hairpins. Is that right? Is that wrong? Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, I think with my choice of like shaping, it could tend to sound like it's decrescendoing or like a hairpin.
Yeah. Here, let me show you a bad version of what it sounds like from here, okay? Hold on to the lines. Even if you come down, there's still some kind of quality left in it. Because you can't sing like this. Right? How would you sing? Do you want to sing into the microphone? No? Do you want to sing without the microphone? Okay, no, that's something. You go ti-da-dum, pi. That's a very natural kind of gesture, right? But it doesn't happen on the piano. What can we do? Maybe. That's too much, maybe. Actually, and also the bass note's held, so you would want to use pedal anyway. The pedal will, if you hold it, it will build that chord for you, right? So let me just show you one last demonstration of kind of holding on to, even when you have a downward hairpin. Every time I have a downward hairpin, just for demonstration's sake, I'm going to try to hold on to something in there. You also don't have to do it like... Yeah, I do hear that sometimes kind of, so I would try to...
Sometimes my landings.
Yeah.
Those notes are a little
Well, you can do it less in the left hand and more, or vice versa, right? Let's, I mean, actually I think you're doing a pretty good job on the middle section. That is crazy hard. So, I just want to do actually this one, the first page, just once more, okay? I think I would like you to just do it with the chords and keep listening, because I hope you keep listening that way. I think, can we do just one more time? Okay, this page, and then we'll finish. Okay, left hand, left hand, left hand. Right. There you go. Now keep the crescendo. Good. One more left hand. Now piano. Great. Left hand. Left hand. Okay, painful left hand. Good. Hang on to it, don't get too quiet. Hold the quality. Ti-la-la-di. Remember that? Same thing. Good. Yeah, so all of this is coming out of a desire to make the piano do what it cannot, right? Do you play another instrument?
I used to play the violin.
Okay, yeah. That's what the feeling is. When you go, it's like that upbow feeling. And so you can make that with the left hand.
Right. I think with the left hand, you can shape the melody more, or give a feeling of vibrato.
Exactly. That's how I like to think about it, actually, because I just play with strings a lot, so I like to, I don't know, I just get inspired by the strings. But yes, like vibrato, and your left hand is like, yeah. But so just really examine the way you're use some tools like the chords just to really be honest with yourself about what phrasing is happening, and yeah. But it's beautiful. I really enjoyed listening. So thank you so much.
Hello, I am Abai Saha, and I will be playing Scriabin's Second Sonata, First Movement.
Wow, it's so beautiful. Tell me, what do you think about this piece? I mean, it's a kind of an interesting, interesting sonata form. But tell me, thoughts or things that you think are difficult. Maybe I can listen to today.
I think. Well, first off, I should probably speak about, at least to the meaning of the piece. I mean, for me, I know Scriabin wrote this as a, as a picture of like an ocean, and I think, of course, there's like so many waves, even within the texture that Scriabin wrote. I think it's also, especially the development section, I think that's a big storm within the ocean going on as well. And I think the thing I struggle with the most is maybe, it's a sonata of fantasy, so trying to tap into the fantasy aspect of it. Also, the rhythmic displacements of the triplets also can be a bit difficult, especially when he writes the accent on the third triplet rather than the downbeat, So trying to be able to, one, differentiate colors, two, rhythmic displacement, and just overall continuity.
Such an organized reply. That's fantastic. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I that image of the water, and I was reading something about when that closing theme to comes at the end in E major. It's supposed to be like the first glimpse of moonshine, or not moonshine, but the light of the moon.
Speaking from the ballad as well.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And this also reminds me a lot of actually Scriabin's Fantasy, which is in B major, and kind of the same triplet setup, I think you are capturing the fantasy part really well. I find myself lost in the world when you play, so that's really great. What I would love to hear a little bit more is actually, I think actually the range of all things is happening. You have the placidness of the lake or the ocean. You have the build-up. I would like a little more of a build-up, but and you have the the really wonderful swirling texture in that closing theme. For me, some of those happen in the wrong place. This is just what I hear. Because for instance, right, the development, I mean, of course, yes, it is a sonata form. I mean, even though, there's a few parts shortened, like the recap, the first theme just happens for like 2 bars, right, or 4 bars. But I think inherent to the sonata principle is that idea of going somewhere and coming home. Right, in the matter of keys. And so I think there has to be a little bit more differentiation between the B major one, which I find, lovely improvisatory quality that you get, and then the E major one, which you had more like excitedly, sounded more exuberant, which is possible. But I kind of feel like, just instinctually, that the coming home one should feel so lush and, just simply happy, whereas the B major one is like more wonderment. And then likewise, in the development, I thought you could use, there's a lot of the same thing repeating, right? I'm sorry, that's not what I meant to say. I meant to say, in some of those transitions, like for instance, right, do you have bar numbers? Like in bar 35. It's like, there's a lot of maybe slowly building turbulence that gets generated from the act of just repeating, That was always my kind of argument against doing echoes. Because, it works musically. It does work musically. But in speech, it never happens. You say something again, there's a reason you say it again, right? What's the reason? It's because, you want to emphasize it. And so it's a tool that you can use to get that going, but that's one thing that I feel you were kind of staying in the fantasy concept, just trying to bring an otherworldly quality, which is great, but I think some of those build-ups can be a little bit better executed. So, I mean, let's maybe take just a look at the top, because it's good. I hear a lot of pulling back all the time, though, and I don't feel nervous at all. It's so calm, but even if it's a really calm lake or ocean, can the water at least be a little bit cold? Where you just feel those chills. Do you think you can try adding a little bit of that? This should sound like a totally different world, which you almost got to. Let me just make sure about one thing. So you're doing this drop at the mezzo forte there because you're interpreting it as an indication that it's like a cautionary, like don't be too loud. Is that okay? Good. All right. Yeah. Can you actually do that previous phrase one more time? Da-dee, da-da. Yeah, I think you can still generate more nervousness with those dotted rhythms. It's such a good opportunity. So there's two rhythms, right? The triplets. Da-dum, bum, pee, pum, pum, dee, dum, bum, bum. Da-dee, da-dee. Yeah, okay, good. I should have heard how you played. No, but that was better. You have a big challenge here because. Here, let me just put it. And then you have this new world. And you have to totally take us into another world already. But then it's not that one, it's a different one, right? And so you have to have this double color thing up your sleeve. How are you going to do that?
I thought about that before, and I was thinking maybe in terms of timing, but I think maybe in this case, maybe closer to sound quality.
Probably. I think, you can actually make the drama in the first 8 bars or so with actually more rhythmic integrity, and that can help set the drama more. Because if you're going da 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 dum, it's a little bit like casual sounding, but it's like those figure skaters. They come out on the ice, and their eyes are just like, right? They don't move. Boom. So let me just. Can we do it without... I'm going to play exactly. if the rhythm can be more, if you can create that drama with a straighter rhythm, like without going ta-dim, ta-dim, it's ta-dim, ta-dim, more brooding quality, then you can just halt on the brakes when you need to make a new color. Give yourself the time to go into it. What should that go to? Just back to, but it goes. So, be like a conductor, okay? Just boom, 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 right? And make the color that way. Let's try one more time from the top, yeah. Take that piano seriously, okay? So ba-dim, da-dim, da-dim. Yeah, can that be in time to da-dim, pi? Stop, go get a coffee, set it up. Try again. That's beautiful. Stop. Yeah, so I think one of the things that has to happen is you have to do the rhythm right so that it sounds wrong. But if you do the rhythm if you fudge the rhythm a little bit, like, cause what's your right hand rhythm? Right, it sounds like it's just don don dee don don, right? The displacement, but it should sound. But now it's a little confusing. It's like I don't know, cause you try again. Yeah, can that be different too? Wait, sorry, I'm just stopping you so many times. Ti da 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 da. This is good. So it'll sound stilted if it's just there. Otherwise, we don't hear the displacement because we're like, what in the world is actually happening? But ti. Can we bring in something not loud, okay? Yeah, right now it kind of goes. They're different things, right? This is actually this is the first theme. I mean, now we're kind of in the second key material, the B major, but we need to be traumatized. Okay. Yeah. Good. Okay, so this is a part. So now we're preparing for that closing melody. It's a pretty long string of small phrases. That's just a never-ending phrase, right? The Scriabin special. I think you're phrasing beautifully. There's a lot of markings, for sure. I think that this is a place that could use a little bit of that supple kind of quality that I was talking about with Ricky. So let me just for a second. I don't want to hear. I mean, your phrasing is so great. Especially with something like this. This is like trying to drive around Queens College with all the speed bumps. So this is a place you could play with when you want more pain. You can bring that. But if you want the opposite, and see, the timings even change because you are like this. I hear you hearing these things, but they're just almost happening. But it's coming out like a little bit like. But. Another place. I mean, I think, when you have the triplets, you have to use the rhythmic quality of it can carry so many different things. Tenderness, impatience, maybe. Can you play on just a little bit more? Okay, I think we're actually out of time, but. Play a little slower, dee-da-da-dee-da, and see if you can really, when you see, you know where the little spots are that have a lot of pain. Just change something in your. Don't just stay there like this. With that one, because you do want it to keep that shine, okay? That's beautiful. Use that triplet. Ta-da-dee. There you go. Same thing. If you want to get that crystalline quality, don't just die quite yet, okay? Let me just play this one part of it, just for reference, right? I hear you hearing it, and that's really wonderful. Keep listening, and just I always say this, but sometimes when we're in a recording session with the chamber group and everyone's trying to have a good sound, whatever, that can mean different things, and they say, oh, I messed that up because I'm trying to make a good sound. And I tell them, don't try to make a good sound, try to be comfortable, because it's like a mirror. What you feel, it produces, and so trust that, and you open, keep your ears open, and play slowly, okay? But it's really beautiful. Congratulations, and thank you so much, Ron.